Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Protein Bros Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jeff Wasserman. Today on the podcast, we had House Elite Sports Performance owner and founder, Aaron Washington. Aaron has played basketball his entire life. He played for UMKC. He was a freaking rock star. He currently coaches over 200 youth athletes, as well as from third graders all the way up to NBA athletes. And they have a first-class facility in Overland Park, Kansas. We sit down, we talk about his past, we talk about how he got into basketball, we talk about how young athletes are training these days compared to how he was growing up. We talk through just the landscape of basketball as far as a sport goes and how it's going, where it's going, as well as these new NIL deals where players are getting paid to go to college and play in basketball. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's got a ton of great advice, great information, and he's got some phenomenal stories about entrepreneurship and how at one point he started with only negative $3 in his bank account. So tune in, let us know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, we appreciate you following, loving, and supporting the Protein Bros podcast. Let's get you to the episode.
What's your thoughts on it? I thought they were about to lose in the
thoughts on it, or thoughts on what specifically?
Right. Semifinals.
The gold medal game for USA.
Yeah. Well, the gold medal game wasn't even like that great compared to the semifinals.
Right. They scared me in the semifinals. Yeah. Serbia's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have the best player in the NBA on their team, so or one of the best.
This is true.
Shouldn't say something that confident.
Yeah.
No, he's good.
We got to preface that Kyle and I have never played organized basketball beyond.
I just told him, I was like, dude, I'm not.
Grade.
Right.
I played for the YMCA.
Gotcha.
Oh,
which means they just allow anybody.
Yeah.
Girls on my team.
Right. Participation.
Jeff shot his free throws between the legs.
Gotcha.
I'm left-handed, and that just threw everybody off for whatever reason. But funniest thing about you're saying participation trophy, I'll never forget. We had like 2 wins on the year. It was like the worst out of all the organized teams I ever played on. That was my worst team I ever played on. And it was the biggest trophy we ever got.
Right.
It was humongous. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was all excited, and I was like, oh, I guess we did pretty good.
And you got a pizza probably. You know what I'm saying? Pizza party.
I think we were more like Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Dairy Queen at that time.
When did
where else do you go? You know what I mean? I don't know what the go-to spots are after sports now.
This is true.
Did you guys go to Dairy Queen when you were getting done with sports as a kid? Sonic?
A couple times, Dairy Queen. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like the ice cream cones was the thing.
A dilly bar, maybe?
Dude.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
How old were you when you started playing competitive basketball?
That's a good question. Had to be 3rd, 4th grade. It was early.
Yeah.
It was early. Yeah, I took
Did
it like
you get recruited? Like, so how does that go?
Not back then.
Yeah.
It was more so my parents just knew of some people and just put me on the team. But I had an interest in it early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would watch like MJ tapes. They're up there. I would just sit there and just watch them. So, yeah.
Is that who you grew up idolizing?
Yep, him and Allen Iverson.
Okay.
That was the two that really, started to build the love for it.
How old are you, just so I know what kind of era you were in?
33.
Okay. Yeah. So the answer was at all-time like cool when you were like in 4th, 5th grade, 6th grade. So right when you were starting to play.
Exactly. I used to wear the sleeve. You cut your mom's stockings, make your sleeve.
Just from the elbow down.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. I once had an Iverson hoodie that had like, and I don't know why this was his like logo, but it was a massive bulldog.
It was. Yeah.
Like spit coming out of his mouth.
Right. Yep.
And I got it just because it was an Iverson hoodie. It was like a 3X, like did not fit me.
Yeah,
at
he
all.
was an icon for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
The sleeve, dude. Cool points go way up when you get the sleeve on. We were watching the first Mahomes Super Bowl the other day, and you forget like in that Super Bowl he's wearing the sleeve. I was like, God, Mahomes is cool.
Bring it
just from that.
Just bring it back.
Right. Yep.
Did you have the shoes too?
I did.
With the cool beehive.
I did the answers. Yep. For sure.
They're coming back.
Yeah.
Did you get a new pair?
I didn't. I need to though. It's classic.
Yeah, man.
Classic.
They had the zipper over the laces. I think those were like the second ones or third ones.
Yep. Those are the ones I had. Then he had the commercial that went with that. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I don't remember this.
Yep. So it was like, who was it? I think it might have been, was it DMX, I think?
I mean, dude, those were so sweet.
Or Jadakiss. It might have been Jadakiss. Yeah. That was the first one.
Man. I had the low.
I had the black ones right there.
Yeah, see those ones in the middle? Those were the ones
I had.
Those are the ones that
classic.
You had to have if you wanted to be cool in my school. That the zipper right there, if it goes up over the laces.
Yeah.
I just
Practice. We talking about
when you're as milky white as I am, you just couldn't get away with high tops,
right?
You know,
right.
So I had to wait for those.
Yeah, 100%.
No one was allowed to wear the high tops in my school.
So third, fourth grade, you get into competitive basketball. Were you traveling a lot for that?
No, not at that age. It was just mostly local. So I played in rec center called Bethany down in Wyandotte County. So it was just like basically like a league, and we would play.
Very cool.
There in Kensington. So
when do teams start getting into these, like, you know, like I said, Kyle and we're so behind. So like, forgive our ignorance on these kinds of questions, but I'm genuinely interested. When does like AAU really start to kind of take hold of a young child trying to get into basketball?
Now it seems like it's just getting younger and younger. But I would say really honestly is 8th grade. 8th grade is when coaches really start to see and, you know, see where the trajectory of the player is going to be. So I would say 8th grade, they really start to dial in.
Wow. And so it becomes year round after that, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So what's your opinion, you know, as somebody who trains kids? You guys have 200 members at your gym. And you spend the majority of your time training kids that are at what age?
Mostly middle school, mostly that 6th to 8th grade.
So what's your opinion on, you know, being sports specific? Like, what age should you start that at? Do you think there's benefits to it? Do you think there's downsides to it? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I say that I would wait. I tell most of the parents that come in here that want to get singular focus to wait until like that 9th and 10th grade. I think there's value in playing multiple sports because there's a lot of things that you can learn from playing different sports that translate to whatever that main sport is. And once you start to get into those higher levels, it is year round and it is a full-time job. And that's kind of what happened to me. I kind of got burnt out after a while because basketball was my life from 6th grade on, you know, and that's all I did. And I wish, you know, looking back that I would have played other sports at least through, you know, my middle school years leading up into high school.
Yeah. And were you, you know, as a kid, were you like a young kid, were you really good at basketball?
I was.
You were the best player probably on most of your teams?
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, it like that alone as a kid can kind of carry you in the beginning, but it seems like as you, no matter what, if you're playing something year round, it can lead to burnout. That's at least my perception of most kids' athletics is that, you know, if you have somebody who's really good at, you know, really talented, basically you got to keep them liking the sport that they're talented at. And if you run them into the ground by playing them in that one sport year round, it seems like it could be very detrimental to their long-term love of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
As a coach, do you have a good story? Like does anybody come to mind for you as a mentor to these children where you saw them have such an unbelievable potential, but they just got burnt. They decided to play pick another sport or just decide not to play at all at a really pivotal age?
No one off the top of my head that I can think of. No, I can't say anyone off the top of my head.
He's like, dude, I advise people the right way. So it doesn't happen.
Right, for sure. I mean, mostly everybody that I see, you know, they're either taking it serious, or it's more of like a, you know, recreational thing that they're passing time with. So, how
often are you with the parents being a vital role in this? Whenever you're coaching kids in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, how often are you having to have hard conversations with parents about just, hey, which direction are we going to take this child? Because you can only handle them, you know, for the hours that they're there at the gym. Yeah, a lot. I mean, you know, the kids that I work more one-on-one with, we have those conversations because that's more of a tailored program that we're running for them. So we have those conversations and, you know, I give my opinion. Of course, they have theirs, but, you know, my role is just I'm here to, you know, provide that framework and to guide you on what I, you know, see fit for where your child is and where, you know, you're trying to get them to be. So for sure.
So you were a stud at UMKC, and you played with a lot of great players. You've been in the basketball scene in Kansas City for your whole life, and it seems like your philosophy with training kids is taking, you know, what a professional sports team would do as far as like developing skills, and then basically trying to tier it down to where it's applicable to kids. So give us an example of like if a kid signs up at you guys' gym, what can they expect from the training that they're going to get there? Like what outcome will they expect to develop?
Yeah, so I mean, we take a holistic approach, like you're talking about. That is the concept. You know, I wanted to be able to provide, you know, the same experience that I got at the college level, the strength training, the performance side of it, the recovery side of it, of course, the skill side of it. All of that, you know, bodied together helps you become a better player, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not teaching basketball. You know, I understand that 99% of the kids that come into my gym, they're not going to go to the NBA, right? That's just the reality of it. What I'm teaching is life skills. There's things that we can take away from playing sports that can show up and help you in your everyday life, right? How to learn, how to deal with adversity, how to set goals, you know, how to persevere. You know, so those are the things that I find value in, and I just use basketball as the catalyst to be able to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, it seems like from looking at your website that you guys have, you know, you guys have a huge, you know, it looks like as young as, what's your youngest people that you take on?
We start them at third grade.
So third grade up to probably into high school, I'm guessing.
Yep.
And a lot of times, you know, you're exposing people to the first time weight training. Are you guys focused on just, you know, for the younger kids, just getting them used to movements, moving better, getting stronger? Do you guys do like unilateral movements or, you know, hand-eye coordination drills, or is it, you know, what's the split on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We probably won't load them with actual weight until about into the sixth grade. And like you said, we're just working on them being able to move their body, being able to control their body, their own body weight. So we do a lot of unilateral stuff. We do a lot of plyometrics things, just getting them used to being coordinated with their own body weight before we start to load them with actual weight.
For sure. It seems like that's the controversy around, you know, kids training is when to start them. Is it going to stunt their growth? You know, is it going to make them, you know, less athletic? All of these type of things. But I think, especially in basketball, you see more and more guys now that are prioritizing weight training versus, you know, 20 years ago, you just didn't see it in the same way as you do now. Now there's jacked basketball players everywhere. It's like you got to be jacked to play basketball.
100%. It's a part of it. You know, being strong, it's a part of it. You know, it's a physical game in its own respect. So, you know, having that strength, and I say natural strength, you know, you don't want to get too bulky and too big because you still got to be agile and be able to react on the court. But, you know, being strong, being able to be physical on the court is necessary.
For sure. For sure.
You're in this position now where you have kids, but you're coaching kids, but my biggest question to you is you had this great career going at UMKC. You had the opportunity to play professionally. You had to kind of get into that decision making where, am I going to move? Was it an overseas? Was the professional opportunities that you had in front of you?
Well, I actually tore my ACL. So I tore my ACL my senior year, and that kind of derailed things for me. I tried to rehab myself back, and I ended up tearing my meniscus. So then I had 2 knee surgeries in about a 6-month span.
Same knee or different knee?
Okay. Same knee. So that's what kind of ended things for me.
Was that your first ACL tear too?
It was.
Yikes.
Yep, it was.
That's wild. Was it non-contact too?
Now, this one was actually contact. We was playing Louisville, and I got a steal, and I went to make a move. I had brand new shoes on, which probably didn't help my cause. But I went to make a move, and somebody kind of hit me from behind, and my shoe stuck, knee went the other way, and I knew instantly.
Ugh. Man, I can only imagine. And so with all that being said, I mean, that's a really great transition into training. But my question is, did you ever consider the coaching side more so than the training side?
I didn't. You know, the coaching side of it never really interests me. I love the player development side of it because I get to be unbiased, right? When you're on the coaching side, you got to think about playing time, and it's the politics of it. The unique thing that I get to do is I don't have to worry about that. My job is just to get you better. How can we get you better to help you reach whatever goals it is that you have set for yourself?
You guys seem to be extremely intentional with how you train kids, even as low, you know, as young as 3rd grade. But what you see in the NBA now is just they're getting taller and they're getting more athletic, and it's just unbelievable. You know, Wemby, if you will, watching him 7'6". Am I quoting this correctly?
7'3".
Oh. He's 7'3". Okay, 7'3", but can dribble the basketball like a guard.
Yeah.
Can shoot a three like a guard. I think Durant was probably the first, I would think, that's close to 7 foot that could be as athletic as anybody on the court.
Absolutely.
But it seems to be more and more common. Where is that coming from? Or, because it just seems like, the Yao Mings of the past, Bul's dad, none of them could move like that.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, the game is changing. The game is starting to expand out more. I call it the Stephen Curry effect. Him coming into the league, being able to stretch the floor and be able to shoot the ball the way he's able to shoot the ball has really expanded the game. So the traditional big is now kind of non-existent.
Wild.
So now, right.
Yeah, wild.
So now kids at a younger age are starting to develop ball handling skills. Everybody wants to, as soon as they come in the gym, first thing they're jacking up threes, right? Because of Stephen Curry. So, just the evolution of the game has started to evolve where kids start to develop at and how they're developing.
Does a guy like Shaquille O'Neal even have a place in today's NBA?
Oh, for sure.
At his prime, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Shaquille
he's still
was
a cheat code.
He's a beast. Yeah, he can play in any area.
He wasn't shooting from more than 10 feet away.
Nah, but you
didn't want him on the line.
Right, you give him the ball down low. There's nobody that can stop him.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's just unreal. There's just is there anybody like that right now? Is there anybody that's even in the framework?
Shaquille?
Yeah.
Nah. Not Shaq. Not Shaq.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Even before him, Barkley,
exactly.
just really big dudes, but they could just throw their elbows up and no one could touch them.
Yeah.
It's wild. So when you train, what's the difference between how you're training kids now than versus how you were training growing up? What's the, outside of the massive amount of, technology gain, the amount of, nicer equipment that is available, it seems like there's, state of the art, equipment and facilities now for these young kids. But as far as the actual best practices go, do you notice a huge difference there?
No, I'm still training the way I was when I first started. The game is the same. Has it evolved? Yes, but the fundamentals of the game is the exact same. So I go into it as I did when I first started when I was 21, in between my summers at UMKC when I would train kids. I approach it the same way. Now, the kids are different. Their mindset, their mentality is different. They have more distractions than, some of those kids back then, but I approach it the same way.
What do you think is, let's say if you're a parent who's, wanting to get their kids into basketball, what's something you tell them to focus on more than anything else just because of what they're coming in, thinking they should focus on versus what they should actually
Right, absolutely. Footwork and ball handling. Those are the two things I say. If you can handle the ball, if you have good footwork, you'll always have a place to play. Shooting, I believe, is more technical. So that's just more reps. Over time, you can get better at that. But ball handling, in my opinion, is one of the hardest things to be able to grasp.
We know some other facilities here in town that do sports performance, but what do you feel like makes House Elite unique and different?
Our holistic approach. We have everything in one house. So, like I said, we have the sports performance side of it. We have the recovery side of it. And we obviously have the technical side of it as well. And all of us speak to each other. So we have a sports performance coach on staff. I'm talking to him constantly. We review all of the kids, where they're at. We have metrics of where we want them to be and where they need to be. So I'd say that's the biggest difference, that we're all in constant communication with one another.
Are you guys doing anything as far as like advising on diet?
Right now, we're not. We've had a couple dietitians that have come in and spoke to the kids, but nothing directly at the moment.
Yeah. I feel like that the thing with kids is there's so much information that has came out since we were kids as far as like what to eat to recover, how much protein to be consuming. I just, when I was, in third grade through, probably middle school, I was eating so much junk food. It's actually amazing to think back on it, because at the time there wasn't like a big campaign where it's like, hey, you shouldn't be eating junk food.
Right.
And I really didn't have any concept of protein. And if I think back on it, it's like, man, all the training that I did, that would have been something that helped me out, as if somebody would have told me, hey man, you probably need to be eating this much protein a day,
absolutely.
Especially, when you start weight training, because the weight training thing is, when you talk about recovery, it makes such a huge difference to have adequate amounts of protein,
Absolutely.
And it's very easy to, now you can kind of look at it and be like, well, that's an easy thing to, advise somebody on that would make a huge difference, in their overall results that they get.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't learn about that stuff until I got to college. I mean, I wasn't really heavy into the weights until I got to college. I really didn't lift in high school or anything like that. I just tried to stay away from. I thought it was going to hurt my shot, and things like that. So I didn't really pick up that knowledge until I got to college. So yeah, that's something that we've definitely looked at doing it and we'll implement in the future for sure.
Did you have somebody who inspired you to want to be a trainer? Like, did you have somebody that you looked up to when you were younger that had a big influence on you that basically encouraged you to go this route?
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about training. When I was coming up, it was just me going outside playing. But the first trainer I actually worked with, his name is Victor Williams. He's still around doing it to this day. And I would say he's the first person that kind of influenced of what a trainer is, because I didn't know what that was. So I would say him. For sure. And like I said, once I got to college, that was something that I would do in the summers to put a little bit of extra money in my pocket and give back.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Of all the people you've trained, can you give us an example? Just, what story comes to mind for someone that came in very raw and has really grown into their own potential and done something great?
Yeah, I would say Bol. So I started training Bol when he was 14. Is when we first got connected through Nay and his brother. So I was training them. They're actually cousins. We were training at Prairie Life. That's where I was doing most of my training at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
the one over on 135th, or the one that was on like 95th or 103rd?
103rd, yep, 103rd.
Very cool.
Yep, so that's where I started. I actually worked there as well on the front desk. That's how we used to get in and get the gym.
We used to sell them smoothies.
Really?
The protein for the smoothies.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. Small world.
Mm-hmm.
So Dustin Lewis over there.
They're good people, man.
Yep. So I would say him. I got him. He was very raw, super tall, right? You could see some of the abilities, but it wasn't really polished. And we kind of hit it off that first time after that first session, and we were together every day since then. And we've been together every summer now. And now he's playing in the NBA. He's with the Phoenix Suns currently. And I couldn't be more proud of him, man.
How old is he now?
He is 24, so we've been together 10 years.
He's starting to really hit his stride, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully this is the year that he really takes it to another level. So I think he's got a great opportunity ahead of him.
Who was he on before the Suns?
So he got drafted by Denver.
That's what I thought. I thought he was a Nugget.
Yep, he was with the Nuggets, and then he got traded to Orlando. So he was with the Magic. And he had a couple good games when he was with the Magic, but now, I think this is a real opportunity for him. So
how much does politics, you feel like, play a role as far as who plays in the NBA level? Because it feels like sometimes, 12 can be just as good as 7. You know what I mean? As far as on the bench goes.
100%.
And you just see I remember back in the day just watching certain players that I saw, tear it up in college, and every time they get on the court, they do phenomenal.
Right.
For whatever reason, they never get on the court.
Yeah, it is. It's a business, at the end of the day. So, it's politics like anything else. And I think it's a huge role, and that's kind of been some of the things that he's had to overcome up until this point. But, I think the coaching staff that he's got, the organization believes in him. So, I think it's an opportunity for him to take advantage of. But I mean, it's like anything, right? It plays its part, Can
you give us some examples of what those politics would be in the NBA versus other sports?
Yes.
So few players get to make it. You know what I mean? There's obviously the G League now. There's obviously tons of great leagues now overseas, but nothing compares to the NBA.
100%. So I'll give you a quick example. So when he was in Orlando, he had a stretch where he was playing really good, and there were some players that were hurt at the time, so that's how he got the opportunity to find his way into the rotation. Once those players started to come back, now they're higher on the payroll than he is. The coach brings him in, sits him down, say, hey, we know you've been playing well up until this point, but such and such is coming back. We got to play him, right? So, now he's moving back, down on the rotation. So, that's some of the politics that go on. If I'm paying this guy $10 million a year, I'm only paying you $2 million. We got to play him, and you got to, try to work your way back into that rotation. So
it's kind of a weird scenario for a coach to be in, because a coach could be getting from the owner down, hey, you play this guy. We've invested more money in him. Mm-hmm. But the coach could know, well, if I pay this guy or if I play this guy who's worth less money, I have a chance to go farther in the playoffs and have 100%. More success as a team. And if I don't make that decision, then you fire me.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And every organization is different. You know, you have some organizations where the owner has a lot of say and the coach doesn't have much say. Or you have, you know, other organizations like Denver where the coach has a lot of say on who he plays, and the owners kind of just, you know, live with those decisions. So,
as a pure, just fun question, out of all the players you've seen play, who is the most skilled basketball player you've seen in person that maybe most people wouldn't guess?
That's a good question. Most skilled?
Just someone that blew your mind seeing him play, or maybe not blew your mind, just it was just really impressive to you, and you're like, man. They never get to, or, you know, you just, not a lot of people know.
That's a good question. That not a lot of people know. I don't know. I keep thinking of, you know, Kevin Durant. I know everybody knows him, but that's somebody that wowed me. I can't think of anybody else.
You got a good Kevin Durant story. We're all ears.
Yeah, I mean, I seen Kevin Durant for the first time last summer when I went to go see them practice, and I mean that guy's really good.
This is down in Phoenix.
Down in Phoenix, yeah. You know, just his ability to get to any shot that he wants. You know, his footwork is immaculate. I mean, he's a legit 7 foot, and you know his ability to shoot the basketball is unreal. So, you know, it's not very many people that impress me, but he was one that, you know, he's everything that you see on TV.
I think I want to say he just passed up maybe Carmelo most points in Team USA history.
Yeah, he did.
Which is a wild stat.
Right.
Because he's still easily got another 4 years to play on the next one.
Right. 100%. I mean? Yeah. He's really good. As advertised.
You ever heard, does the name Blake Ahern ring any bells to you?
It doesn't.
Remember Blake Ahern, dude? So Blake Ahern used to play for Missouri State. That's where him and I went to school.
Okay.
And he's like a 6 foot white dude who went to a private school in St. Louis, but he could shoot out of his mind. Mm-hmm. And that's what he was known for. And so he led the NCAA in free throw percentage 3 years out of 4. He only lost to J.J. Redick his senior year by 1 free throw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so he lost to J.J. Redick. Lakers head coach now, Kyle. Did you know that?
I did know that.
That's right. But anywho, the reason why I bring him up is because he mentioned, like, just similar back to the conversation you had earlier about if somebody is on a team and, you know, they're playing their ass off, you can't, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, if they're getting paid more, if they got pressure from the owner that, hey, we're paying this, you know, he got a few 10-day contracts with the Miami Heat. You can see there some one of those photos.
Okay.
But when he went to, and he said, like, it didn't matter every time he got to play, he was tearing it up. You know, he had a 40-point game one night, which is crazy, something like that. Yeah. Something wild. And then he gets signed by the Spurs, and he said that Popovich was the best coach he ever had. Mm-hmm. And when I asked him why, and he just said, man, he just treats it like a human being, and there's no such thing as he's got a really great relationship with the owner. And it was just cool to hear that depending on the organization you're in, you don't have to deal with stuff like that.
Right.
And, you know, Pop just does what he wants.
And he's earned that.
Exactly. Well, yeah, well stated. Yeah. And so as I get older now, it's crazy to look at sports organizations, and it seems like the players are starting to get more and more power as far as where they go and what's to be expected when they get there. There's no more just like, you're just going to have to take it, you know, grit and bear it based on where you're getting drafted or what team organization's going to take you on. As far as those politics go, is that starting to now pour into college as well with these NIL deals and so forth? Are you seeing that with your players where they get to call a lot more of the shots?
Yeah, absolutely. The NIL has definitely changed the landscape of where college basketball is and where it's going for sure. You know, the players they have that power, so to speak. Now, you know, you see players they're going where they're getting the most money.
What's your opinion on it?
I go back and forth. You know, I think they definitely should be getting paid and getting compensated, just, you know, virtue of the fact of how much money the colleges and universities are making off of their likeness. But I think on the flip side of that, it waters down the fan affair of the sport, right? You know, if kids are just jumping from school to school, you know, that kind of watered down the product, in my opinion.
Totally.
So
it's almost like they should be doing like a contract, you know, like a 4-year contract or something that like they agree to, and they're like, they want to stay with, you know, because you're right. It makes it harder to be fans of teams for a longer period of time.
Yeah. Devalues legacy, devalues tradition.
100%.
You know, now everything's just going to the highest bidder versus who's the best coach, who has the best program. So
I am a capitalist though. So it's like, there's a part of me that's like, dude, they deserve to be getting, they are the product.
Right,
so it's like,
saying,
they deserve to be getting compensated for it. So, and that's been wrong for a long period of time, but it seems like the way that it is now, I don't know if it's the right solution for a problem like that.
And it's going to be hard to put guardrails back on it, but they're coming.
This is true. Right.
They're coming in some regard.
Yeah.
Right?
They have to figure something out.
What's the craziest NIL deal you've heard about so far?
The craziest one, there was one kid, I think he was making, I want to say $1.5 million
per season.
Yeah. For one season.
That is wild.
Crazy.
You know what I heard?
You can't give me that kind of money at that age either.
Right.
Because I'd be like, bro, I wouldn't listen to anybody.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
College football, you know, I was told this last year, football coach on a podcast said, yeah, man, a running back right now, if you want a running back, it's going to be $2 million through the transfer portal. Like, you want the right running back, it's going to be $2 million.
That's crazy.
You want a quarterback, $5 million.
That's crazy.
And it's like, that's a real number, you know, and
crazy.
you're like, what are these kids doing with that money, you know?
Right.
It's just wild. And then, you know, this is how much sports plays a role in how we do things, right? The governor in Missouri, you know this rule as far as NIL deals go?
Mm-mm.
This is wild, dude. So there's a D lineman. Look it up, Luke. Look it up. There's a D lineman right now who is at Lee Summit.
Okay.
Okay. He's one of the top prospects in the country. What's his name? Mike, you know it. I can't think of his name. Yeah. So the state of Missouri, God bless them, they decided they're going to, all right, Kamori Moore. He's committed to Oklahoma. This can't be right.
Hey, listen.
Because he's a Mizzou commit. Is he a 5-star? Yeah. I mean, he's a big deal. All I know is he's going to Mizzou and he went to Lee Summit, one of the Lee Summit schools. There you go.
So, okay.
There he is, 5 stars, dude. Number 99 in the country.
Oh, damn.
Or that's his Madden overall. We don't know. But bottom line is, this guy, if you here's what happens. If you commit to a Missouri school, you are allowed to take NIL money as a 17-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And so as long as you're committing to a Missouri school and you're in Missouri, you can take that money. So this dude, summer going into his senior year, was just stacking cash before even he started his senior year. I mean,
That's wild.
How are you even going to go to class?
What's funny about that is think about how many like 5-star prospects end up not being good. Right. You know,
True.
It's like you're really rolling the dice on, you know, before somebody's proven anything.
Right.
So
it just goes to show you how much money they were making that they can afford to pay all these guys.
100%.
You know, I mean, there's, I forgot what booster was talking about this. You know, there was a booster on a podcast talking about how, you know, they invested millions of dollars into a player and he transferred after his freshman year. He didn't even see the field. They never even got to see what he would have done because he took even more money to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't like.
So yeah, the boosters are getting burned at the same time.
That's why it almost seems like it. I don't like the contract thing, but it seems like it would help to solve some of that. Where it's like,
if we're going to guarantee you this much money, guarantee us this much time.
Right, exactly.
It's just like it's almost like an extension of pro. If you're gonna, if people are gonna play, it's like you have to do something that, you know, makes it to where kids can't do that.
Right,
kids can't
100%.
just take money and then bounce, and you know,
Right.
I don't know. Do you hear kids talking about that more often now?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
They're like, hey, man, get me good because I need to make some
Right.
money.
Yeah.
Gosh,
the
dude,
parents too.
Straight up Wild West.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Listen, I got this kid. I need him to bring some money for me.
Wow.
He got a $383K, 17 years old.
17.
And look, he's 6'6", 265, dude. He beat your ass, Kyle.
Right.
He's 17 years old. Beat your ass. Anyways.
Nice.
I mean, dude.
265 and 6'6", dude. Oh, my God. Anyways.
Crazy.
So you're in this situation now, though, dude. It's like, again, it's the Wild West. None of us know what's going on, right? I've even had a parent, guy who shopped with us for a long time, his son with him as well. He commits to Mizzou and immediately texts me. He's like, hey, man, NIL. how do I get this, this protein for free?
Yeah.
It's like, man, well, I don't sell anything online, and and we don't have a store that's in that city, so I don't know what you want me to do.
Right. Yeah, it's wild.
I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Hey, he's got some influence.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's wild. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Have you seen any other fun NIL deals that are just worth mentioning, like with a random brand where it's like a plumber or something, like you know what I'm saying, like some random store or something?
Yeah, I seen one of the guys that I trained. I think he was promoting like a pizza shop or something, some pizza shop I had never heard of, and I was like, this is interesting. Dude. Did you hear about the guy? What's his name? DeColdest something, and he was DeColdest Crawford, and he had an HVAC deal. Oh wow! Kool-Aid McKinley. Well, yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry, or isn't it McKinstry? McKinley, I think. Yeah, I mean with Kool-Aid. Did he have a deal with Kool-Aid?
He did,
yeah. I mean, that's unbelievable. Yeah,
crazy.
He had to, right? I mean, like, come on.
Right. On brand.
But dude, show us the HVAC deal. Yeah, dude, heating and cooling. Come on now.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'd be psyched. What else are you gonna do,
man?
But man, hey, it's a far cry from the days of just when
they just do it under the table.
Yeah, right, exactly. Back in the '90s, when the star player just shows up in a brand new car, they're like,
right, exactly.
When LeBron had a H2 Hummer in high school classic, and he was like, yeah, my mom bought it.
Right.
Where'd your mom get that?
Right.
But no one could say anywhere,
Exactly.
It's like, what are they going to do? It's not like he played it in college anyway.
Right.
Amateur stat. Look at that, dude.
Yeah. I remember this.
Young Bron looking the exact same at 40.
It's crazy, ain't it?
He doesn't, I mean, dude, he's aged, but like he hasn't really aged.
Right, exactly.
That's wild. Man. All that chrome, that's the era right there.
Exactly.
You don't see chrome on anything anymore like that. That's wild.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, man. So House Elite, you guys are growing. You're at 200 members. The goal would be 300. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep, for that location.
And then what's the future look like, man? Like exactly, how do we scale this from here if that's the goal?
Yeah, absolutely. Expansion, man. That's something that I'm looking at now is expanding, coming out north. North Kansas City is where I'm eyeing next, and bringing the concept out there. And then from there, I've been looking a lot into franchising and what that would look like, franchising the model out and going from there to try to scale.
You ever want any, advice from franchisees? That's us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to pick you guys.
Isn't like this is what the customers are going to be looking for, right?
Right.
But as far as North Kansas City goes, as somebody who was not born and raised here, I got chastised by many when I would say the phrase North Kansas City and be talking about, let's say, Liberty, or like the Zona area, like Platte Woods, Platte City,
right?
I'm like, that's Kansas City. And it's north.
Exactly.
So why am I not saying it like that?
Right.
And I just got yelled at. Like, that's not North Kansas City.
Right.
It's Kansas City North.
Kansas City North.
And I'm like, so when you say North Kansas City, is that what you mean?
Yes. Liberty, Park Hill, Oak Park, Staley, North Kansas City.
Right. But North Kansas City, like where Chicken and Pickle is the actual name of the city is North Kansas City.
Gotcha.
Did you know that? So anyways, I got yelled at all the time for that, saying, dude, we're opening a store up in North Kansas City. They're like, well, that's like all the way up near Liberty.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, north.
Right. Right.
But yeah, even dude, we've made like a Facebook post about our new store up in North Kansas City.
Really?
And like we got just locals.
That's not Zona Rosa. We're like, it's by Zona Rosa.
Right.
I mean, what else were we supposed to call it? Like Barry Road location? Yeah, man. So good luck. Just have fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that.
As far as other stories or anything you have else to share, we just want to know, man, is there anything that you'd want our audience to know about you, about House Elite, anything that they could possibly gain value from?
Yeah, man, I would just say that, it's been a journey. Getting here has definitely been a journey. I know people oftentimes glamorize entrepreneurship, but I'm sure you guys can attest it's not always rainbows, right? There's been a lot of moments of adversity to get to this point, but I would say to anybody that if you got a dream, if you can see it, if you can believe it, then you can achieve it. There's been moments where I'll tell a quick story of me getting to the place where I'm at.
Tell us the long version, dude. I'm serious.
When I started it, I bet on myself, right? As I mentioned, I was working at creative planning, and I had just got to a point where.
How many years were you there? Because this was pre-production. This was before we started the podcast.
Oh, really? So I was there for 3.5 years.
Doing the traditional corporate role.
100%.
Yeah.
Doing a traditional corporate role.
And to be fair, Creative Plan, we hear, is a great place to work. They treat people well,
extremely,
so forth.
Extremely. But it was always something, my dad was an entrepreneur. I come from a line of entrepreneurs. So it was always something in me. I knew that at some point this was what I wanted to do. And I was there, I was working in a cubicle, and it was just something that just didn't feel right. Fast forward to COVID 2020. We're working at home, and we started to hear rumblings about us going back into the office. And I was miserable. I was like, this isn't what I want to do, right? And I made up in my mind, I said that if they say we have to go back into the office, I'm quitting. That's it. And, I stuck to that. Now my family wasn't happy about it, right? Because I wrote down a business plan, but what's a business plan unless you work the plan, right?
Just a piece of paper without action.
Exactly, just a piece of paper with words, right? So, I did all of that, and I quit cold turkey, right? And at the time, I had a little bit of savings that I poured in, into the business or whatever, but I didn't have the money I needed to do the build out. And, I'm like, where am I going to get the money from? You know what I'm saying? Like, what people do I need to know to, that's going to invest into this crazy idea that I have? And I just would walk into the facility and I would just say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I just started to say that to everybody that would listen to me, right? And over time, I found the investors that I needed to get the money. But during that process, as I was doing the build out, they told me it was going to be like a 4-week project.
Okay? Oh. No, never.
Right.
Never.
Oh, the construction crew told you 4 weeks?
Told me 4 weeks.
Just take that and double it. Sometimes 3.
I'm gonna guess at least 10 weeks.
Right, exactly. So
we learned this the hard way as well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So fast forward, and we're at week 8. Okay. Now I didn't survive for 2 months. Okay. I checked my bank account. No lie. And this is all I had. It was negative $3. Right. I'm sitting outside the gym. I have nothing left because I done poured money into the build out as well. So everything I have is in this project that they told me was going to be 4 weeks. Now we're at week 8. And I had shut down the building so we could do the build out.
And so you're not able to make money.
Yeah, I'm making no money.
You're going to be training people in the parking lot.
Right. 100%. I'm making no money. And, I'm sitting outside the gym and I look at my bank account. It says negative $3. And I just sit there and I chuckle for a second. And I'm like, God, I know you didn't bring me this far for me to go out like this, right? And I kid you not, I can't make this up. I didn't reach out to these people. I didn't try to, go get new clients. But that week, 4 new people reached out to me, and I was able to make it through the month, right? We was able to finish the project. I was able to open, and the rest is history. And, for me, that was just confirmation of what I'm doing is right. And for me to just keep going with the dream, right? There's a book that I love that I tell everybody to read. It's called The Alchemist. I don't know if you guys have read that. Similar story, on his journey as well. And, that spoke to where I was at that moment in my life. So, that's a long-winded version to me saying that if you got a dream, if you got a goal, aspirations, man, go for it.
When he was working in that crystal shop,
100%.
This is the time.
100%. Yep.
It's kind of freeing when you have no money because you're almost kind of like
truly nothing to lose.
I don't have anything to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the worst that can happen? And also when you have nothing, there is nothing more motivating than that point in your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
there's nothing more fun to support someone who truly has big dreams, big goals, big aspirations. It has that nothing to lose mentality. It's my favorite entrepreneurs to deal with, my favorite people to work with.
Yeah.
The part of that story though that people need to like really understand is when you were talking about finding investors and just kind of speaking it into existence, that right there is where most people get hung up and most people are just like, I guess this isn't for me. I guess I'm not going to find it. It's people not realizing the effort that it takes to find the money, to find the people that believe in you. And also like, you said that you just kept talking about your crazy dream, crazy dream. It's like, you never know when you when you're talking about that dream, who the right person is that you're talking
100%.
to. So it's like doing it over and over and over again. And then also doing it with enthusiasm and doing it with conviction. You know 100%. What I'm saying? Every single time, which a lot of people just, they'll have like 2 people that they hit up. Right. I guess it's not for me.
I want to dive a little deeper on that too, because there's 2, I think, real big keys here. And that is, one, your amount of, personal self-belief, and not only you, but your dream. When you have people say no, you know what I mean? It's easy to tell yourself in those moments with those doubts, like, they're right. What am I doing? I should just go the safe route, whatever it is I'm doing. Right. And so, you persevere through any kind of those doubters. But my question is, where did you get that belief? And was that belief in that, yes, I can turn this into a functioning, successful business that makes money? Or is your focus on, I know that I can create such an impact with these kids that the money will take care of itself? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
2 different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, it was both. It was a little bit of both. I always had the vision of this is what I wanted to do at some point. Even when I was training back in college, that part of that piece that you speak of giving back, that always felt good when you teach a kid a new move and they finally figure it out the first time, and the joy that they get. That was always something that stuck with me. Of course, we're in the business to make money, right? So that was another part of it. But just the vision that I had, that I saw it. And when I walked into the space, it was just clear to me, like, this is it. And the feelings that I had when I was sitting in the basement writing down the business plan, like, I believed in what I was writing down. I believed in what I saw, and that's what, kept me going forward. So through the tough days, the good days, the bad days, it didn't matter, because what I saw, I believed. So yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Very cool, man.
Very much appreciate you sharing that story.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I hope those that are listening can take something away from that. If somebody feels inspired or wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to find you?
You can find me on Instagram at House Elite, S as in Sam, P as in Paul. And then you can find my personal at I am Mr. Washington on Instagram. Our website is also House Elite, S as in Paul, P as in Sam. S as in Sam, P as in Paul.com.
Standing for sports performance for those.
Yep.
And where'd you guys get that logo made? Because it's sick.
Appreciate it. I had somebody make that for me, so I kind of gave him the concept of what I was looking for, and he nailed it.
Yeah, man, it looks great.
Yeah, he nailed it. So
we have one question we have to ask all of our guests, especially our KC guests, and that is, we're known for having some of the best barbecue in the world. Mm-hmm. You get one person coming to visit, for example. Where do you take them?
Tough.
You got to take them to one spot.
That's tough because I like different spots for different reasons.
You can give us the tour if you
want.
Jeff
loves that.
The tour?
Answer. No, he loves when some people are that into barbecue that they're like.
They don't have to be that into it. Just, hey, you got to if you just have to have opinions, you know what I mean? Like, some people don't even have an opinion.
Yeah. I would say first, the classic is Gates. Now, my toss-up is between Jack Stack and Q39.
That's if you're trying to be classy.
Right. I called Q39 bougie barbecue. That's bougie barbecue.
It's so good, though.
It is.
It's so good.
It is, and it is good. What do you get from there? What's your Gates order? You know what I mean?
We usually just get the presidential platter, so it comes with.
I'm not familiar.
You got
I'm not familiar. Are you familiar?
No.
The presidential platter?
No.
Yeah, I got to try that.
Yeah, speak it out. What do we got?
What's
on this thing?
I'm guessing everything.
A kitchen sink?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the ribs, you get the brisket. You can do ham if you want. I hold the ham, right? I don't eat the ham. Yep.
Oh wow!
It's everything. You got the pickles. You get the soggy bread. The soggy bread up underneath the.
Oh yeah.
There's a comedian once that told me that those are just napkins. He's just like, oh, you just rub your face with those.
No, the soggy bread. That's what you put the brisket on top of. It's to die for.
I'm a big rib guy. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like the presidential platter, I think looks like very worthy of the next order here.
Absolutely. Get the fries on the side. You got to get them extra crispy.
Yeah, dude, they do make them soggy too much.
You got to ask for extra crispy.
Yeah,
every time you go.
But the seasoning's on point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Aaron, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on
with us. And man, we're very excited to see you guys continue to grow. And always let us know how we can help you, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, fellas.
Thanks, man. Very cool, man.
Nice and easy.
Yeah,